episode of Disorderly Blondes. This is Christy.
And this is Brenda. Hey, we're recording from the 954 today.
Whoop whoop. Brenda, I don't even know what day it is.
Same. I don't either, but last weekend was like a month, no? Like it feels like
forever.
It's been 87 years. What is she says in the Titanic? What's that meme? You know? Okay, squirrels. Sorry.
Squirrels. Yeah, and also for me that was like 5 pounds ago, so I can't even talk about it.
Oh.
Got some explaining to do.
So should I cancel lunch?
No.
Okay, all right. So all the more reason to catch up. We are the distinguished guests.
We are
today.
Dressed for the occasion.
Yes, we're very dressed up today.
Although if I would have known, I would have had some more demands, but you know, it is what it is.
Like what? Like drinks, mimosas.
Yes, Cabana Boys.
Hey.
More about that. So who's going to mention the topic today besides us? Do you want to mention the topic?
Well, given I haven't read the script, I'll just read what Christy says the topic is. Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, today's back to us, as we love updating you on all of our behind-the-scenes escapades, aka the shit show, that we call our everyday lives. We kind of sort of forgot to do something during the first 2 episodes of season 2, which is introduce ourselves.
Yes.
We want to remind you of who we are, as if we really know ourselves, and our goals we have set for the podcast, besides an excuse to get away from our family.
What family?
What family? Who are those people up there? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're recording in my office today, so that's why you see the little appearance by Ollie and Dylan.
I love it. I love the setup. It's very cute.
It's cute.
I like the front, because we used to see this part.
We're trying.
Fried hair. So now, but maybe front.
We're trying. This is the new setup.
Spots. I don't know.
All because of YouTube. Hi, YouTube fans.
Hi, YouTube. We should probably put makeup on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, listeners don't know that we're just looking at the camera saying, oh, shoot, we have a new setup. Listeners don't care, remember? Now we're like listeners, viewers. Okay, squirrels.
Viewers.
Sorry.
Okay, so Brenda's going to introduce herself. I already know her, so I'm just going to kind of just...
Okay, so yes, like she said, we forgot to do it, and if someone's joining in new in season 2, you don't know who we are. So I am Brenda. I am mom to Dylan and Oliver. Dylan is 17, and he's on the autism spectrum. And Oliver is 10. He has a genetic duplication called CHRNA7. He also has hypotonia and apraxia of speech. And Dylan is mid to high functioning, and I use whatever labels I want, so don't tell me I can't. I'm feisty, in case you couldn't tell. And well, we've been at this for a while, and we thought, what better project for us to work on than start a podcast and share our tidbits and our experience with having children on the autism spectrum. Christy?
Oh man, I haven't really thought about what I want to say. Hey, good job. I was kind of listening.
Oh, whatever.
Well, I'm also over here, I'm the tech person, and I'm just making sure that we have volume, and you might have to get a little bit closer, I don't know.
You're telling me to get close to the mic?
That's weird, because usually when I
really loud.
edit, I have to pull her way down.
Yes,
but
because I'm Cuban.
And now I'm a loud one. And then I have this tendency when I talk and I want to say something important, I get close to the microphone, which is really weird. But anyway, I'm Christy. I'm the other half of the Disorderly Blondes, Brenda's BFF, aka Brenda's BFF. I am mom to JR, who is 15. I keep looking to her because she always finishes my sentences. Necessarily, meaning like she has to. It's not like a best friend thing. It's like she has to, because my brain doesn't work very well anymore. Okay, so JR's 15, and his original diagnosis was PDD-NOS, but that's all under the umbrella of ASD now. I have a 12-year-old who is, for all intensive purposes.
All you.
For all intents and purposes, a typical child, whatever, typical means. And when you get to know us, you'll know that we don't, hang on the politically correct terms. Not, we might say we have met a child who is severely affected and think, are we supposed to say severely affected, or are we supposed to say...
Yeah, but I think we're over that.
Yeah, we're over that.
I think we've earned the right to say whatever the hell we want.
We don't have to say needs more services. Although I know that
we do say it as well.
But we do.
We say it as well.
It's respectful to
we say it all, and that is
that's our problem. We say it all. I mentioned JR. Oh, Jackson. Did I say my 12-year-old's name was Jackson? Yes.
I don't know.
And I wasn't listening. Great support system.
Lots of squirrels today, crowd. Just so you know.
So many squirrels. But this is kind of distracting because we haven't filmed and paid attention to the filming. We used to just have like the camera in the room and we would just do our thing, and I would be like, so. But now I feel like we have to pay attention to the camera and
the script and the microphone
and the microphone and my hair and my glasses with their readers for up close, and then I'm trying to see in this camera that's far away if I'm still dressed, but I can't really see, so I don't know why I'm even bothering. Okay.
Squirrels. Let's edit all of that out.
Okay, so we have some more script.
So, okay, back to the script. I think, I'll read it, but I think, I'll read it because I have opinions, as usual.
What?
What? Hey.
If you haven't met us, she has opinions.
We want to take a second, whether you're an established fan from season 1, way back in season 1 in January, or you're a new fan joining us and you're wondering what all of this is. Well, squirrels are basically what happens. We're like, look, squirrel. That's what we mean by lots of squirrels. Let's also say that we're South Florida based. I know we said this last time. Just a reminder, there's a lot of Miami-isms and occasional Spanglish that goes on, and that's just part of the flavor of recording in South Florida. So yeah, if you don't understand it, it's probably a Miami thing. That's pretty much the answer to everything. But really, we just want to take a second to clarify or just to address what's obvious to us and play that our little bleached brains haven't failed to convey this to you. But this autism life is hard. So just because we have a cocktail drink and a glass of wine in our logo, and we try and keep it light, and we laugh and we make fun at ourselves and we poke fun at everything, it doesn't mean that we're downplaying autism. Autism is hard. Our lives get really hard. So all we're trying to do is just chill out and laugh when we can so that we don't cry all day. And we want to share our enthusiasm for each other and for the life we're trying to create with our kids and everything we're doing. And we're lucky we have a great support system with our families, our husbands, grandparents, just all around friends that support us when we're whining about something, which is often. And we have each other for one, and that counts for a ton, and that doesn't rhyme.
1 ton.
We also have each other for one, and that counts for a ton. That does not rhyme.
But you have to say it like with a melodic.
So she wrote, hey, that
rhymes. And she writes.
And then I wrote, and then I wrote, it doesn't rhyme.
And then I deleted that. Did I write, yes, it does?
And I wrote, no, it doesn't. I'm like, anyway, see, squirrels. So, also, in case you haven't noticed, we spend a little more than the average girl on our appearance and our roots, and we are girly girls, and I'm not apologizing for it. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
Too many of our days are just challenging, and every day is a constant worry about our boys' well-being and future. So if I want to color my hair and be sassy and dress girly, guess what? I'm doing it.
We're unapologetically who we are.
That's right.
Yeah.
So and out of the way.
I think that was kind of important to get across. Should we say some more? Allowing ourselves to explore the different ways autism challenges us is always a part of the script. And we thoroughly enjoy sharing our experiences with you, the good, the bad, the ugly. The goal of this podcast is as much about self-medication. What's in your drink?
I have coffee today. I do.
What's in our coffee? As it is education. We work really hard to maintain this balance, and we're committed to communicating the good part of this autism life along with the, not so great. We'll laugh and cry, only to look forward to when we get to meet again. And, I'm not exaggerating when I say like this time is so precious to us because the second we're off camera, I'm so used to saying on camera now. Yeah. I'm like a pro already. Well, not a pro, but squirrels. But the second we leave this environment, it's back to the grind, back to
back to carpool,
back to our reality. Yeah. And we want to, even though we laugh and make light of so many things, that is our personality anyway. We mostly laugh at ourselves, if not the absurd assault autism has
gifted.
What are you to do with me? Air quotes, gifted us. It's the only way we know how to do this, so thank you to our listeners for respecting that.
Yes, sorry. I need caffeine.
Sorry, not sorry.
So, hey, what's going on with school? Let's get a little bit of an update here.
Okay,
school just started.
I feel like we've been in school for like 9 months because of, some...
But has it even been a month? I don't think it's been a month.
It's probably
maybe for you.
Oh,
I think I'm like a 3 weeks.
Like a week off. Yeah. It's probably only been about a month. Kind of back to the same grind. Not really grind, but kind of like the same routine. Kids are very happy. I took a leap of faith and I put JR in theater this year it's like an after school not enhancement, but and not an after school special because that would be an ABC. Oh, that would be. Did you live here? Did you live here in the States when we had after school specials?
Yes.
ABC. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it's an after school thing that he does, and I really wanted him to do it. He didn't request it, so I didn't want to be one of those moms that was like, okay, well, like me, right?
You're doing this.
This is what you're doing. Hey, what's up? I can't do it with him. But he did love, and there's many stories behind this. He loved being a part of his school show last year. He hammed it up, and he really surprised me. And from that moment, I was like, okay, he was born to be on stage. I mean,
an entertainer.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wonder where he gets that from. So I put him in theater, and he loves it. I mean, he's only been a couple of times. But I think that the important thing to know here, if you know me, I'm the biggest helicopter mom ever. And I've never put my children in any kind of childcare. I'm always like the first person in car pickup line. I'm just a psycho. But it makes more sense for him to leave school, stay in school, chill out for a little while, and then go to, some of his specials, or whether it's golf.
What does he do while he waits?
They have a computer lab.
Okay.
And probably for him, he can do VR or whatever. Yeah. And, of course, all the parents are like, oh my God, the kids love it. I'm like, you don't know my kids. But he did not skip a beat. He was fine with me not picking him up. He hung out. One day I saw him on the golf course. I'm like, hey, JR. And he was great. And of course, I am trying so hard to stifle myself and not screw it up by saying, well, are you sure you're okay with me not getting you? You know what I mean? So that's like a big thing for me. So,
it is. I think it is. And the reason we can record longer today.
Yay! Thank you, Bridging the Gap at the L Center for Excellence.
Yay!
Bouncing back.
Well, Dylan started school. We have a new teacher. For I think the first time ever, maybe the second time, I lie. I didn't go to orientation this year, and I forgot why, but because blonde and because squirrels. And Larry did a good job reporting back. I didn't want to send him alone because he usually forgets. Oh, what? That was important? Yes, I needed to know A, B, or C. But he did good. He took pictures and notes and everything. But I didn't meet the teacher.
I haven't met mine either. So who are we?
Who are we? Well, this is why he's in 12th grade. This is what happens. At some point, it's like, whatever. So, but I did. I waited a whole week. I'm remembering now. I waited a whole week for communication. I got no communication back from her. But then finally, I received an email. I emailed her, and then she gave some great input on how he was doing. He was adapting well, so let's see how the year goes. It's a tough year for me. The whole senior thing. I'm not like most parents who are really enamored with the idea that their child is a senior. Because for me, it's not a regular senior year, and he's going to be there 3 more years. So this whole thing where parents are like, can you believe our children are seniors? I'm like, wow. I mean,
yeah.
And I don't know what that says about me, but it's just, I can't fake that whole, I mean, is he applying to colleges? Is he having dreams of what he's going to do? Is he, he's just happy because Dylan is a happy kid. So,
but is he happy?
But is he happy? Well, he is. He's very happy, yes. But is he happy that he's a senior? No, he's just happy whether, I mean, here it just shows you, I could tell him that he's in 4th grade, and he will say 4th grade. He doesn't understand the meaning. Like if I correct him and I say, Dylan, what grade are you in? And he says 12th grade, and I say, no, you're in 4th grade. He'll just go with it and say, 4th grade.
Right.
Same. I could teach him that his age is 5, and he'll say 5. He doesn't cognitively understand what being the expectation of being a senior,
Sure.
But yes, he's happy. We're keeping him happy.
Yes.
And he's doing actually today they have a dance team workshop. If you listened to last season, you heard my stories about his dance team performance that he did. I asked him if he wanted to do basketball, and he said no. I asked him if he wanted to join the media club, and he said yes, but I think he was confusing that with the other media club special he did at the JCC.
Okay.
Sorry, whatever. So he said yes, but when I said JCC Media Club or SFAX, his school media club, he said nothing. So I said, okay, he's only excited about dance, so why am I going to overload him with things when the only thing he really apparently enjoyed was the dance team? So today they have a workshop, and they have auditions in 2 days. I hope he makes it. He can Tootsie Roll.
I hope you make it.
I hope I make it out for this year. I hope next spring when we're taping, I'm laughing about what a great year it was. But I'm not going to hold my breath, but this is where we are. And he's back to doing his fitness class on Tuesdays now, and his yoga on the weekend, and we talked about cheerleading that he's doing, so keeping him active.
He's busy. That's
he's
great.
Busy. And happy. Did we say he's happy? He's happy.
That's an inside joke for us.
Yes, we've created this perfect bubble for him where he's just content and happy.
Right.
So, yes, so...
And you have a very, and going back to the senior year, it's going to be it's very bittersweet. And those of you who have younger children on the spectrum or any kind of special needs, you'll be there too, and it flies. It really does fly. Yeah. And so JR is right behind Dylan, so I'm curious to kind of feel you out this year and your emotions and support you, and because it's challenging. And I actually have some friends at my school whose kids are 21. So the pictures that they took on the first day of school, they would caption first day of school picture.
Right.
And that broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
And they're struggling.
Yeah.
They're struggling. So speaking of struggling.
Yay! And I would be too, FYI. I know what you're going to talk about.
Johnson's in advanced math again. And by the way, when you're in advanced math in 2nd grade...
Why is he in advanced math?
Because he's smart.
But by choice, did they place him there, or did you say you have to do advanced math? I don't know how that. Remember, I have no typical children. I don't know. Is it like a choice?
I'm only laughing because you're like,
because if
genetics plays a role,
not because you're dumb.
How is he in advanced math?
That is not what I meant at all.
No, I think because what happens when you're in elementary when you have a typical child. So you have all this wealth.
Like if my mom would have told me you're going to advanced math, I would have said no.
First of all, our moms never talked to us. That would never happen.
No.
But my limited experience raising a quote-unquote typical child, I'm going to impart my wisdom on you. But when they're in elementary and they get straight A's,
yes.
they put them in, advanced classes in 6th and see how, it goes. For me, as a teacher, a former teacher, I don't want to throw any of my students under the bus, but I kind of felt like if your child could do more, is capable of doing a little bit more, and he's quote unquote stuck in a regular class, there's a lot of distractions that
I just can't relate to any of this. Oh, please continue.
I put on like my pedagogy glasses.
I was in English honors class.
Well,
And Spanish honors.
Well,
by choice. No, not by choice. I don't remember why. Well, no, you register, and then if they're like, wait, you cannot.
Well, you know, in high school, like if you register,
right,
and you can't hack it. They're like, yeah, too bad, so sad.
But I did. I passed.
Yeah,
with
course.
colors. Yes.
So anyway, so you know, they just kind of it's on teacher recommendation, and I'm sure.
I think that was the answer I was looking for.
Thank you.
Like 5 minutes ago.
The long and short of it. So yeah, it's very sad. It's really hard, and
for mom and
for
dad.
me, it's hard. And you know, Tim, I love you, but you're no help.
That's what I really meant. But no.
Yeah. So we're gonna get him some tutoring and whatnot. But you know, I see myself in him. You know, it's hindsight is 2020. You know, obviously
2020.
Sorry, still mad. But you know, looking back, if I would have, let's say I was presented with an assignment and you know, or a lesson, and I went home and then I had to do the homework, and I was like, oh, I don't really get this, especially number 7. So when I get back to school, I'm gonna raise my hand. I'm gonna say, excuse me, Mrs. Appletree, I'm having a problem with number 7. Can you mind clarifying that? And then it's smooth sailing from there. But nobody does that, especially girls. I hate to, you know, stereotype, but especially girls.
We're out of control today, labeling and stereotyping, and we're so not PC today.
I'm
in trouble.
Make excuses for myself. So, you know, I tell Jackson, please do your homework. And you know what? If you don't know this problem, do as much as you can and take note as to which part of it you had an issue with. So when you go back to class, he's looking at me like I'm speaking another language.
Because mom, you can Google it probably. Like YouTube
you
videos.
know, Khan Academy. I'm telling you right now, if we didn't have things like Khan Academy and other and Googling and that kind of thing, I would.
Do you remember a WPBT show?
Picture Pages?
No, where people
with Bill Cosby,
where kids would call in. It was a local TV show, and I would watch it just because I was fascinated by who was calling in. So you got to call in with your problem, your school problem. I'm not talking about mental health. I'm talking about I don't understand division, or I don't understand. So they would take live calls, and the teacher would stand there with I guess it was an actual chalkboard, not a dry erase, because it was that long.
Remember those big pages with the lines, and they would go. Shh.
Maybe no, but this was an actual chalkboard, and they would do it on camera and explain it to you. So it was a real live call. You remember that?
Was that before or after Que Pasa USA?
That was definitely before.
Okay.
No, yeah, right before, because Que Pasa USA was at 3.
I don't even remember that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really want to talk about math anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm sure no one else wants to hear it. So let's move on.
Yay! I'm the creative type. So before we get into our awesome Autism Bites Supper Club experience, which we were dying to share with you, everything that happened, the day before our inaugural Autism Bites Supper Club event, I was upstairs, and my mother, who helps with the boys, was giving Oliver breakfast, and he was using his iPad on the table looking down, and he lifted his neck a little too quickly. We now realize that's what happened, and I guess he got like a bad kink in his neck,
like a strain,
some kind of strain, something. And not only did it give him an instant stiff neck, but his head was, I don't even know how to pronounce it, torticollis, and his head was permanently slanted to the side, to the right, and
to the right,
to the right, to the left. No, it was to the right. But he was making gagging sounds. So my mother starts screaming that I need to come downstairs. So I'm running downstairs, and he's crying. I don't know if we freaked him out, but then he's making gagging sounds with his mouth. He's like, ah. So I thought he was choking. Long story short,
that's terrifying.
It was so scary. We called 911. I've never called 911 in my life. Called 911. Even a cop showed up because he said, and I quote, the paramedic said, no, we're cool. You don't need to be here. And the cop said, yeah, this call that came in, it was all over the place. I think I drove the operator crazy. He's choking. No, he's not choking. No, he's playing with the iPad. No,
There were squirrels involved.
There was definitely squirrels, and the guy, but obviously the guy was laughing. He laughed, and the paramedics checked him. His breathing was fine. He was not choking. Then he spent about 4 hours in the ER with x-rays, and they just couldn't find anything wrong with him. But it was scary to have him not feel like himself, and you could tell he was a little apprehensive about physical activity because I guess he was feeling uncomfortable with his body. And so he was
he can't clarify, he can't explain.
Right. That was the other thing I meant to say. So she's saying, the operator's asking me, is he speaking as he usually would? And I'm saying, well, yes and no. He wasn't speaking before this happened, and he's definitely not speaking now. So yeah, what do you mean? Well, he's a special needs child, and to have to go in through all that, and the same thing with the paramedics. And what do you mean? And then when I said what kind of genetic duplication he had, he said, I've never heard of that. I'm like, oh well then, okay, great, thanks. Look it up. It's called Google. So, and FYI, if you ever call, this is why you need to keep a house line, a landline.
Hello.
If you ever call, hello, calling from Hialeah. No, you should call from a landline, because it took an extra couple of minutes to give her my address because I was calling for myself.
But that doesn't feel like it makes sense. Like, don't our cell phones track us everywhere we go? But then 911 is like, right. What? Where are you?
Yeah, Big Brother's there except when you need it.
Right.
So no, actually, instead of saying 911, what is your emergency? She said, that's the first thing she said was, what address are you calling from? That's the first thing she said. What address are you calling from? So before even telling her what my issue was, and I was trying to get dressed. I was in pajamas, and I'm trying to get dressed and call at the same time. So
put on a bra.
Oh my God, I had no bra. I hadn't brushed my teeth. I hadn't washed my face. I was a hot mess. And I mean, I'm always a hot mess, but a little bit more. And anyway, whatever. Long story long, it was a really scary experience, and it was the morning before our event. And he was at the event. You can see in some of the pictures.
He was at the event.
He's like this at the event. But by then he was happy and running.
Always happy, yeah.
And that's the thing with Oliver. It doesn't matter what you throw at him. He just adapts.
Yeah.
We all need to be like Ollie. He's so sweet.
That needs to be like a hashtag.
Just be like Ollie. Just attack life like Oliver does.
Little body. Yeah, I was worried for you because that is...
I don't ever want to have to call 911 ever again. Mm-hmm.
If you look at my phone, because I'm such a worrywart, if you press the actual icon for the telephone, you'll always see a 9-1. Because like the other day I heard this noise. I'm like, Jackson, what is that? Did you make that noise? And I'm like, I go 9-1, and I walk around.
I do that all the time.
Walk around.
But why is it so
hard?
Don't
make me hit the last one.
Yeah, but then you still have to click the sender, don't you? You still have to call. So you could technically speaking do 911, and then wow, you're blind.
Wow.
But anyway, going back to like just que pena, but the phone, how hard is it? Why is it so hard to make a phone call? Like seriously, look, I have to open my phone.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like in a pinch, I'm like, where am I? Okay, here. Oh, this is the. Now I have 911 saved, but if not, then you have to go to keypad, then you have to press it, and then you have to press send. Like it's like 8 steps. This is why you keep a landline. You pick it up and you go 911 and you're done.
Is yours rotary?
No, but it's over there. You could make fun of it. I just kind of left it because I can say that one I can mute.
I really want you to talk about Autism Bites because I feel like it was your baby, and I'm so proud of you. And I know I've already said this on social media, but Autism Bites Supper Club is something that Brenda has talked about and thought about for forever. And I shouldn't say we, but together, we made it happen, and it was the most perfect day. Nothing went wrong. Everyone had a blast, and that's all I'm going to say because I'm going to turn it over to you.
Right? I think it was one of those rare... and I think you felt it because you said, I've never seen you so calm and happy.
You were.
Usually I'm just crazy at events, like even when we do stuff at home, like last minute things, and I was just so calm. Oops, sorry, I hit the mic. And I was so calm. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. And usually I'm not calm, and I kind of do things out of order, and you'll have to say to me, Christy, first do this, first do that, because I'm nervous about things being perfect, but didn't really. Maybe it's because you got there first and you kind of
I did,
set
which is why I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go back. So Autism Bites Supper Club. If you missed our announcement last time, it's just an idea that my original idea. I kind of heard about it. Autism Eats, you guys rock. It's another organization started doing something like that, and because I have a food blog, food reviews and travel blog, I thought this is a perfect marriage of my other my other project and this one for me to host a safe space, a no judgment zone place where families can go with their children to dine, and if the kids want to practice eating with manners or just eating out, they can. If the kids want to run around, they can. And I think that's exactly what happened. I think one of the moms actually said to me, this is so great, it was so relaxing. And I pointed out, I said, yeah, but I think you feel relaxed because everyone around you is on the same page, you know, and so you're not being as picky or as vigilant as to what your child is or isn't doing, or comparing notes. Well, that child over there is sitting and my child is not. We had our own. I think it was also, we had the perfect venue.
It was perfect.
Russo's, you guys rocked it. We did it at Russo's coal fire kitchen in Pembroke Pines, and they were just so friendly when organizing
so accommodating
any questions that I had, any requests. Carla, manager, was just like, don't worry about it, I got it, it's fine, we can add it.
She's like, I've seen everything. I'm a restaurateur, duh.
Yeah, she was just really great to work with, and we had our own semi-private space. So we put up the event, just going back again, put up the event on Facebook. I hate you, Facebook, but this was very helpful.
Yes.
And parents were able to RSVP for tickets for their spot. And then it also worked out that they were able to pay their own server, so we didn't have to do prepaid tickets.
That worked out great. We had a price fixed menu, which made things seamless.
And then other parents wanted different things. We had a cocktail named
the ABA.
The ABA. Do you remember what it stood for? No. I forgot. What the hell did it stand for?
A blonde aperitif.
That's what it was. So of course
it was delicious too. And it was sangria. Oh my god, like the stars aligned.
It was perfect. And we called it the ABA. And I kept going by. Everyone had one. Everyone took that. That was just a special little thing we threw in. And we did some giveaways, some raffles, and I did get there early to set up, and that helped me. Just knowing that I was there, and we printed menus, and it was just so great. So we're hoping to do another one. Did we say we're doing maybe December?
Yeah, like a holiday theme.
Or what do we do? Or the kids? We're working definitely for a holiday.
I don't want to speak too soon because we've been talking about
and
this back and forth.
I think pretty much every mom that was there requested a mom's night out or a mom's
brunch out or
a boozy brunch.
Yeah.
So we're working on that, but I forgot what the notes we settled on. If we're gonna do definitely a holiday one, but was that gonna be the moms or families? I think the families.
Yeah.
The Santa Claus wants to come, and yay! So so that was a success, and I thank the parents parents and friends. We actually met a lot of fans that we had never, fans we had never met in person. So we had a good, I think it was like 50-50. You know, we had all of our friends that supported us and their families.
Yes.
And then we had all these great families that we had never met and that listened to the podcast. And it was so great to host them. And everyone, I think, was very happy.
I think so. And there were also a couple of moms that came.
That was
a spy,
fun.
But that's something I would do just to kind of scope out the scene, which shows that they really need this. They really feel like when they go to dinner, it's challenging.
We did a seating arrangement in typical Brenda fashion.
Totally.
It wasn't color coded this time, but it was, but it was really nice, and I was able to put families that either already know each other together, and then the ones that were single. They're not single moms, but they came by themselves together. And everyone had so much in common. We had another mom friend of ours. Her daughter just wanted to walk around. That was perfect. Nobody cared. You do whatever you want. And one child screaming, and it's funny, everyone's just eating. Nobody's even paying attention. You're like, yeah, this one's screaming and that one's screaming, and some,
cupcakes were flying.
No, they were so good. So cupcakes were flying?
No, I'm joking.
We got cupcakes from I can't remember the name now. Oh, SoFlo Foodie. And they did a really great job.
They were beautiful.
Incorporating our colors, and they really were great. So
they were
happy.
I should have frozen some. So
I told you to take some home. And
I took 4 home, but if I would have taken more home, I could have frozen them, and then that could be more stuff I could have defrosted and eaten during the hurricane.
Oh my gosh.
Because I ate so much.
Hurricane.
Oh.
part of the charm of living in South Florida is hurricanes. And we just had, I can't even believe that it was last week, a huge hurricane scare where we thought we were going to get a direct hit.
And we know what a 5 is.
Yes, the potential could have been, I mean, as we are experiencing now in the Bahamas. Terrible that they got hit, and we were kind of in limbo, like we're getting it, no, we're not getting it.
And that's the way it always goes, but when you're in it, you still go through all the emotions.
And it was our first real scare this year. We haven't had any false threat until now.
Right. And it was pointed to Jupiter specifically for the longest time. I got texts and calls from people like college friends. Are you going to be okay? Yeah. And it's always, when you're in it, you think, well, I guess an outsider might think, well, can't you just leave?
Right.
And
well, in this case, it was weird because I wasn't, I'm kind of in between you and Miami. And so Miami was kind of out of the cone most of the time, but I was like right there, borderline. So typically you leave north, but it was headed north. So the only option we have as Floridians is to go south, but you can only go so south before you hit water or Cuba.
And if that hurricane turns
and
to the Keys,
we know, so we have the experience with Hurricane Andrew, which was in 1992, which was slated for Broward County. And it hit Homestead. So it actually hit, for those of you that don't know geographically where these are, basically it hit about 2 hours south. So that's the fear. If you're in Jupiter, you're going to evacuate south, and then what if it turns?
Right.
Then you have nowhere to go. You can't follow it north because it's going to follow you.
They already knew it was going north, so where there was a hotel that we had.
Right, it would have to be just go, to the Midwest, take an actual flight.
Sure, which is sold out. Immediately. And then add autism into the mix.
Right.
Right. You can't just, if it were just my husband and me,
of course,
I'd be like,
it doesn't matter.
Peace out, cats.
Yeah.
I would jump in my truck.
And dog, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Jump in my truck and we would just take off and we would figure it out. But you can't just do that.
Right.
And one of the big fears is running out of gas on a highway.
Right.
A lockjam highway with no way to get gas, and then even let's say you do get out, what if you can't get back? And so those are all the things that we learn from living through Andrew and living through so many hurricanes in our lifetime.
Yes.
So just like a little background to explain to people in Wisconsin who are listening, that the quandary that we have, and of course now seeing everything coming out of Bahamas is so devastating, and we know the pattern. We know just like during Andrew when Rick Sanchez was standing on Miami Beach saying everything's fine, we're great, and meanwhile Homestead was completely flattened, completely gone. You see the stories initially, a little boy drowned. Well, it's going to be thousands of people.
Yes.
And we see that, and the disease and the pestilence and all the things that follow. And, maybe it's more on our news here in South Florida.
Of course.
I know it's national news.
I know because, just coming back, Larry was saying we were away this weekend, and he's like, where's the hurricane now? Because we no longer have the coverage. So we actually have to actively go into the news if we want to find out, where it's going.
True.
But for us, the biggest fear with autism and hurricanes is losing power.
All the preparedness.
Everything, because things so we'll deal with it, and there's no AC, and those are all obviously uncomfortable things.
Inconveniences.
Right, but for a child, for example, like Oliver, my little one, he has no idea. He doesn't have autism, but he's also cognitively delayed. And then Dylan does know, but he doesn't know why. He had, I think for the first time 2 years ago, was when he realized something was off. He knows he doesn't like the word hurricane. I had a social story that I did for him. When I pulled that story out this time, he did not like it. He put it away in the drawer. Because he lived through several days of no power, which to him translates to what? No computer. I have a zillion external chargers, but those are only going to last
so long.
How many days can you have those chargers? The car has an outlet, which we know, but then you could, in a pinch, you could go to the car and charge your his iPad, but then now you're wasting gas. So like, you need the car with gas. So like, it's just a give and take. So he lived through that. He napped last time. I actually just got that reminder today. I put out that Facebook status. I guess 2 years ago was Irma. I forgot what the hurricane was. And he just shut down. It's sensory overload that he was going through. Not having his computer and having his grandfather was here and his uncle and just everything that was going on. Everyone was home and
everything is different.
Everything was different. The house was really dark because we had the shutters up, and he just shut down and napped.
I wish I could have done that.
Right. He hasn't napped since he was like 10. It's been 10 years since he took a nap, and he just napped, and he, I guess, didn't want to deal with it. So, of course, when I pulled out this year the story, he didn't want to. We put up the shutters in the breakfast area, the breakfast nook, and he ate covering his hands over his eyes, like by his forehead, just to not look up and see that the shutters were there.
Wow.
We couldn't get him to take his hand out. He wanted to eat covering or turning away from the shutters because he didn't want to deal with it. And as we're driving through the neighborhood, it started, which was a thing last year, 2 years ago, open. So I didn't know what he was saying. I'm like, open what, Dylan? Open what? Open. And then I realized he wants people to open their shutters.
Oh, yeah.
So that to him signifies hurricane. I don't like this. So the anxiety starts and it really affects him.
But we're not anxious at all.
Oh no, we're just a sea.
They don't feed off of us at all.
At all. But for you fools who are leaving your shutters up for months and months and months, don't.
Just send Dylan over there.
It upsets my child. Please. There's no hurricane. It's like Christmas and they still have shutters up. And Dylan's still driving through the neighborhood. Well, not driving. Going through the neighborhood. Asking, Mommy, open. I'm like, I know, Dylan. I know it's Valentine's Day, but they haven't taken their shutters down.
But it makes, take a step back. It makes perfect sense.
What his anxiety
of like, because
if the shutters are up, that means something's gonna happen.
That means something's gonna happen. Yeah. And me, I am like one of those doomsday preppers in every sense of the word.
You guys, you have no idea.
You have no idea. Yeah. So. I'm very busy doing that. So JR kind of, is like, okay, hurricane. And I think for him, he doesn't get as anxious, but he just wants it to be over. He wants to go back to school. He wants, the normalcy. We're outdoors a lot. We take a lot of walks and we, hang out. We go to the beach a lot. Although we did go to the beach during this storm, which was super fun.
Oliver didn't want to go swimming. It's raining outside and he's doing the sign for swimming. And we're like, no. Swimming.
Yeah, so, and then you feel kind of like a jerk with all of your memes about the boredom and the eating because there are people that, have literally, we haven't said that this season yet or this show yet, literally have nothing. And if you are not from South Florida and you're not, again, seeing everything on the news, we are, South Florida obviously is has a boating lifestyle, and I know, for example, at my school, shout out to the Kubiak family, they're so amazing. Liz, who's our PTO president, and her husband are boaters, and they were a part of 70 boats that went over and crossed over and were able to take our entire schools and, many other families hurricane supplies straight. And I saw pictures of the stuff that I donated being handed over to people, and that was crazy.
Yeah. So that's part of it, like, so stocking up on water, and then you're thinking about the kids, and if your child is on a special diet, and now you can't heat up their food, or they have to, is that the time, the hurricane, to start eating food that you haven't eaten before? I mean, it's fine for us with like the Ruffles and that. Yeah. So for adults,
the cookies.
Yeah. So for adults, the joke is this is when you get to eat potato chips and cookies and everything. But for our kids, now they're eating food that's not typical to them, to their regular diet, and wow, that could get a little hairy. But.
Although freezing McDonald's hamburgers and cheeseburgers is part of my doomsday plan, and I'm telling you, we really enjoyed McDonald's as it defrosted. Although it probably doesn't even really freeze because it's not really.
You could probably leave it there until next year.
Exactly.
That's probably what those people with the shutters do. They have leftover food. Leftover McDonald's. I hate you people that don't take your shutters down.
We hate you. We hate everyone, though.
No, shut up. No, we don't. Yeah.
Okay.
Coincidentally, I was just on a cruise to the Bahamas, and we weren't sure the cruise was going to happen because we were still, school was closed Tuesday, your school was closed until Wednesday, and the cruise was Friday. So we weren't sure if it was going to be a hit. Obviously, at that point, there's no cruise, but if there was going to be any damage, or if the Bahamas, which is essentially what happened, did get hit, a direct hit, and was the cruise still going to happen? Was it going to be detoured? It wasn't a cruise with the kids, it was a cruise with friends. And it happened, and the cruise line, Royal Caribbean, took a detour to Freeport, and they were all night. The staff pulled an all-nighter, and they pulled together 20,000 meals to deliver to Freeport, along with medical supplies, and then they took 300 evacuees onto the boat to take them to Nassau.
That's amazing.
Which was that was great, and I know they've pledged to donate $1 million in help and aid and everything.
Families.
So yeah, so that was really great. But the autism side of this for me, hurricane aside, was, you know, we've always talked about trying to go on a cruise with the kids. So we basically spent the whole cruise analyzing the situation.
Been there.
And I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know. I think we would have to try with Oliver first. It's just so many people. I think that's what it boils down to. I really need to look into Autism of the Seas to see what accommodations exactly can or maybe could work for Dylan. It's just too many people. At the end of the day, even with accommodations, it's just, and I saw, you know how we are as families. You know, I looked around, I saw a bunch of kiddos on the spectrum, you know, having dinner. And I think it does fizzle out a little bit towards the end of the cruise. People aren't on top of each other. I think everyone calms down. There's
people find their place.
Yes, there's like a collective feel of like everyone rushing everything. And Larry and I are looking at each other like, yeah, this would not happen. The whole emergency drill, that I know they have to have something in place for that, right?
They do. They don't
because
have to
there's
do it.
no way we would do it. And and then there's the other side, which I'm looking at the typical families having a great time with their kids, and then there's that whole thing like, oh, well, that's so easy, you know, like they make it look easy. I know everyone has their challenges, but then we're looking around like, oh wow, like that's so nice that they're able to do that, and then woohoo, we can't. You know, so it was a little weird because even though you're on a vacation, you know, but usually we do a lot of trips, Larry and I, but it's a lot of adult things like drinking wine and things where you don't see a lot of families.
Right.
And, you know, you do see obviously a lot of couples in cruise ships, but this was heavy on the family part of it too. And the splash zone is so cute, but I'm thinking like, Oliver will go there, he'll do it for 10 minutes and he'll be like, all done.
Right.
All done. Now what? And Larry's like, what would we do with him? Because now when you're on the boat, you're stuck and the rooms aren't big. So I don't know. I think the right now, I don't know that that's going to happen. So I came back and I said, Dylan, for years, been trying to get him to do the Disney cruise. Yeah. With Larry and Dylan. FYI. Listen, if Dylan was to say yes, we would go in a heartbeat, because once Dylan says yes, that means he's agreeable to anything I tell him is going to happen. But him saying no, to the point that I've gotten him that DVD they sent you, or they used to anyway.
Yes.
It's kind of like a promo. He has like 3 of those, and he loves watching it. And when I catch him watching it, I always say, yes, cruise, let's go on the Disney cruise, and let's go to dinner with Mickey. No! He's just freaking out.
Well, the Autism on the Seas,
we need to have them on.
Yeah, we are going to have them on, but the tour itself is very eye-opening. I remember we took the tour, and I remember saying to the organizers, listen, I know that you're touring the whole boat, but and it's hard to, well, I thought this at first because I had not been on this one big ship.
What ship did you do the tour? Does it matter?
Do they all
do
it? Very similar. It's through Royal Caribbean.
But do they?
And the ships are similar.
But they do that program. Well, I mean, we'll have them on, but we'll do that. They do that program on every ship.
I don't know the answer to that because Royal Caribbean partners with
Okay.
With Autism and Seas for this particular.
Because I didn't see anyone. I saw a lot of families, but I didn't see anyone like a designated, like with special T-shirts or anything.
They don't have it. They may have like colors and tags and stuff, but
and the kids I saw were mostly older. They were like actually like Dylan's age or older.
Okay.
I didn't see any little ones.
I remember going on that tour telling someone, do we have to walk by all the pools? Because imagine, like, you're here to see it. How do I say, hey, JR, look at these awesome pools, but you can't go in because the tour happens in that time.
But there's no one on it.
Correct. People are disembarking, and it's about time for people to come on. And people tend to come on slowly. They're not early bird weirdos like we are.
We were there early, too early, I think.
But so that was definitely a consideration. You know, going on the tour. Like, if you take me by the pool.
Oh my gosh! If I take Oliver, he's gonna want to go.
Yeah,
he's gonna be doing this.
Something to think about. So mentioned that to the tour guide. But I can't say enough about Autism in the Seas. We do not use them. I don't think that's part of our family plan because we're able to.
100%, we would need help, and we would. There's no way. That room is so tiny, and we had it wasn't a suite, but we had a balcony room, so it wasn't like we had.
You can't have just one room.
You know, it was.
No, you have to have. Well, they have obviously like any other accommodation. They have bigger rooms, but you can also get.
But even just the chairs in the balcony, because it's sealed off. But what if Oliver decides to climb a chair? So we would have to actually take the chair out. You know, I don't think that would be a worry with Dylan, but with Oliver for sure. So there's so many.
Listen, my kids are bigger than me, and when we went, their balcony door was completely shut. If they wanted to go, and we had adjoining rooms, and so if they want to hang out with us, they would come in our room, and they could go on our balcony, but with us. Like they didn't have any access.
The balcony, so the whole time we were looking at the food. The food was actually really great, Royal Caribbean.
The food is great.
You know, but to be continued, I guess.
Yeah,
is the answer.
Yeah. Because I was curious because I know that going on those vacations, and we do it all the time. We test things out. We went on a cruise, and I could barely have a good time because I was scoping out would JR like this, would Jackson like that.
Right. I think most of the stuff I saw Oliver would enjoy because he's more party animal Oliver. Like he just wants to be in the middle of everything, but I think Dylan would have been just in a chair the whole time covering his ears, saying or being in the room, and then at that point, what's the point if he's just
Well, we spend time with them and watch movies. They need breaks, and I think the most important thing to remember is
the Roddy drunks. So that's what I was thinking, maybe like a Disney cruise, because then everyone has a kid, has a family. But here you have a bachelorette party, and everyone has a right. They have a right to be there too. So you have the bachelorette party, and then what does Oliver like to do? He likes to just get out and jump in. But you can't do that in those ships in those pools because everyone's drinking. There's not enough space.
Yeah,
there's not enough clear water space in the pool. Like I it's have an island that we went on to Nassau on Sunday. That pool is huge.
But with Autism in the Seas, they have designated times. So it's before the pool opens or the pool is closed for this amount of time. Okay. It's almost like a private experience for your kids, and then you can pick and choose.
I need to
when you want to, they're saying, okay, this is dinner time. Are you going to join us?
Dinner, I think, would actually be the easiest because the dining rooms are huge, comfortable, beautiful seating, spacious. So I think that actually would be
well. And for us, the repetition of going to the dining room every night. By the end, Jared was like, "Yay, I want to sit in this same spot," and they're so accommodating and so great. But at the end of the day, the most important thing to remember is it's not your vacation. So you have to strip down, like some of the other people on the cruise are doing. Strip down and be like, this is for them. And sometimes I need to remind myself.
But that is actually the problem. That we're doing it for them, but then it's something that I'm kind of forcing on Dylan because he could give 3 shits. So then at the end of the day, we kept thinking he's just for the most part going to be asking to be home. And now you're there stuck for Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. You don't get back till Monday morning. That's a long time for him to be miserable. Because remember, he needs the closure. So it's something that we everything that we do it for him. But if he's miserable from day one, you're screwed.
Yeah, and you guys are awesome about trying. But then you can't try something where you have to be all in. And it's like Willy Wonka.
For
when
him,
am I in?
But to see him miserable is what which sucks because that's why I think we would give it a run, maybe
Oliver.
with Oliver, and then we could do this, and then maybe do it once alone with Dylan, something like that. We'll see. To be continued.
To be continued.
Yes.
Speaking of not being able to turn back.
Oh boy. Yeah. Announcement: we are no longer recording the podcast in Jupiter. It's going to be in Plantation from now on. in Plantation in Pepper Pine. Yes, because
so during the storm,
oh boy,
my beautiful bleeding heart babysitter, who is more like a family friend now, she's in college, but she always comes back and visits JR. And
your babysitter? You have a babysitter? You have a babysitter?
Well, sometimes babysitter, yeah. And
she babysits you?
I thought you were going to say, you guys have never gotten babysitters your whole kids' lives, so who am I? But for kind of
JR's babysitter. Okay.
Thank you, sorry. Kind of for JR. He's at an awkward age. Jackson is able to be home. He's old enough to be home in these short spurts. But then, is he going to be responsible for JR? That's kind of weird. I can totally see, the headlines. Mom, leaves her 12-year-old to take care of an adult with autism.
Mm-hmm.
So we always, have backup for JR. And anyway, so Gabby, I love you, Gabby.
Gabby's a troublemaker.
She is in big trouble. And she actually, let me get to the point. So she brought a dog home during
a puppy
during the.
He looks big though.
He's gonna be big, not giant.
Thank you, Christine.
Yeah, he's bigger than a cat. That's my only reference point.
Do you not remember the first thing I said to you the first day I met you when I went to? Yes,
because we can't be friends.
Right.
If you have a dog.
Right. Yeah. So what is going on here? I actually said, "Do you have a dog?" Before I even said hi.
I'm like, why does that matter?
Do you have a dog? No, okay, we could be friends.
But I'm all in with that. I don't even know how this happened. So Dory was fostering a dog during the storm.
Gabby.
All of our local, what did I say?
Dory. Her name isn't even Dory until now.
Gabby, our babysitter, fostered a dog during the storm. The shelters were like, please take these dogs. Please take these dogs and foster them in your home so we don't have these huge amount of dogs with no power and all the things that can happen. So she calls, normally she fosters cats, and I go and, pet them. So she says, oh my gosh, I have this dog. JR would love her. I can't bring her back. If you guys don't want her, that was not, part of it. It wasn't like a threat. And so she goes, I'm going to adopt her somehow if you can't. And I'm like, you know what? We're bored as hell. We'll meet the dog. And it was love at first sight. And I'm just going to cut to the chase.
So you let a teenager
tell us what's going to happen.
Choose a dog for you to adopt, and you bit, and you did it.
Yes, I bit.
I'm happy.
She bit back.
In a weird way, I'm happy. But I'm definitely afraid of dogs, and that's why.
And she has a pen. That's not going to be a concern, but.
JR took to her right away. I think the comments that I got when we posted, hey, we're fostering this dog, you realize that people actually have dogs as family members. You know what I mean? Dogs are a thing. And see, I'm a crazy cat lady, and I had a dog when I was little, but my parents took care of it, and then it died when I was little. So, I've never been a dog person. I like dogs, but I've never said, I gotta have a dog. Right.
But this little girl is so wonderful, and so we're trying Dory. We named her Dory after Dorian, the storm. The hurricane. And I really can't form sentences because it's like having a toddler at home. A newborn at home. I'm tired. I'm worried if she's going to pee on something or poop on something, and she's learning us, and it's really on me because I'm home. And I think I really felt that this morning when I took her to the dog sitter. The dog sitter who is Dory's family. Oh my God, now I'm confusing them. Gabby's family. She has a bunch of brothers who are at home, and they are watching her today. And when I dropped her off, I was like,
time for myself.
So I know it's going to take time to adjust to having a dog, and I don't really know what I'm doing, but in my heart, I know it's the right thing. It's the right thing for Jackson. We talked about getting a dog for Jackson. Tim did. And so this is a great, we already loved her. You know what I mean?
No.
So why not her? Why just go bring home a random dog from like a breeder or a store or whatever? Why?
No, of course.
And when we already know this dog, we already
you're
like
doing
this dog.
a good thing. I just don't know how I'm going to deal selfishly with this dog. But
I don't either. I don't know how I'm going to deal either, but...
But who's JR? It's all about what I think. I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
A little bit.
Okay, so let's switch gears. I'm tired of talking about that dog already.
Yes. So by the time you listen to this, you will be days away. We will be days away from working with the Miami Lakes Gala, benefiting their special needs committee. If you haven't heard about our wonderful Miami Laker friends, listen to episode 12 where we discussed all the wonderful things they're doing. The town is going out of their way for inclusion, and it's such an exciting time to be a part of this journey with them. We are the official media partners, and we will be hosting and interviewing from the red carpet and on all of their social media channels. So depending on when you listen to this, it's actually coming up next week. So you can follow them if you want to see us make fools out of ourselves. No, it's gonna be fun.
Way.
No way, we got this. Woo!
And the only thing right now that's complicating things is that this is the thing about Brenda and I. We never attempt to coordinate. Like, we just kind of, I mean, until the podcast really, so we would like really clash. But like, I could just pull this random outfit from my garage, from my closet, and just show up in it, and magically
we match.
We somehow blend, somehow match, and it's just this running joke with us. But when it comes down to like important things, we try to consult each other. So I was having a hard time finding a dress. I found a dress for the gala, and I was sticking to it, and it was basic black, which I don't love, but it's easy, you know, my easy out. And Brenda was having a little bit of a hard time too, and then I found this last minute dress. Oh, but it's so, I don't want to say it's hot, but you see something, you're like, oh, I think I want this. So I ordered it. I'm like, Brenda, I'm trying this one. And she's like, well, oops, I love that it's green, but my dress is red. So
now we're gonna look like Christmas, maybe.
We'll be lit up like Christmas.
Yeah. So potentially we might look like a Christmas tree, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
What else? Oh, we have to watch the clock. In a few minutes, we're gonna be recording. This is kind of something cool that fell into our lap we're excited about. We're gonna be recording with Julie Hornock. I think that's how you pronounce her name. We'll find out. Julie, don't listen to this if we're pronouncing your name wrong already. She's the founder of United in Autism. She's a fellow blonde, she's an autism advocate, she's a speaker and an author, and she does this really fun series that she posts in her social media called, which is a game. I should have said that to you from the beginning because Brenda was lost for a while.
I mean, I related it to a drinking game, so that's why I was like, is it a game?
Duh. Mm-hmm. It's called 2 Autism Truths and 1 Lie.
Yeah.
And if you go on her social media, and I just think it is so clever because I've been saying from day one, JR's 15, from day one I have said that our truth is stranger than anyone's fiction because this autism life is insane. So we're going to hopefully not make fools of ourselves, and we're going to be on this series which we'll share through our social media.
Yeah. And
you'll have to guess. Maybe we can have our no, they can't do that because they'll know the answer. Guess in your mind. And then after you watch, you can get back to
I haven't decided what story I'm saying, so I have a couple.
We have so many
lies. That's the problem. No,
we lie so much we can't keep our.
There's so many. I
there's a lot. So
I don't know which way to go.
Definitely give her a follow. Again, her name is Julie Hornock.
Yeah.
And give her a follow, and we'll be sharing the video.
For
when
sure.
we get it, for sure. Thank you all for listening and watching. Hey, YouTube, we will conquer you. I know that Brenda will have our set rivaling Andy Cohen's Clubhouse by season 3.
We're working on it.
And so many ways to accessorize that bookcase. Note to self, keep the bartenders shirtless.
Yay. Remember to follow and interact with us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
very important, ultra important. Please check out our show notes. Super. Oh my gosh, a whole show notes.
You didn't say super? What is wrong with us?
Oh, I don't feel well. Wow. Super important. Check out our show notes section after each episode. Also on our website for detailed info on all the sources we've listed, as well as tidbits and links and other colorful information we choose to add in for fun. Also, it's our last hope to make you chuckle.
Yes, that's it for now. Hey, Christy.
Yes.
Si tú pasas por mi casa
y tú ves a mi mujer,
tú le dices que estoy en Hialeah
trabajando en factoría por culpa de Fidel.
Okay, so true story, little Disorderly Blondes tidbit. That song and the Que Pasa USA theme song, Que Pasa USA, is
Que Pasa USA.
It's an old local show about Cuban Americans making their new lives in Miami with the token gringa. And anyway, the theme song from Que Pasa USA, and this song by DJ Lass, a block party, it's what inspired our jingle. Those two songs, and so we want you guys to know that little tidbit. That's it.
And you're about to hear it in a second, right?
In the outro. We'll see.
Right?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, the jingle. Yeah, here it comes.
See,